Spot is presented by Botano. The game starts now. Here are your hosts, Brent Wallace, Jason York, and Bobby Ryan.
The best laid plans never always seem to go the way you expect. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Coming In Hot. Brent Wallace alongside Jason York and Bobby Ryan, and not Andy Sutton. We apologize. Literally just like 20 minutes ago, he said his day got out of control and he has to deal with something. When you're the CEO of a company, gentlemen, you have to make some decisions. And so I'm assuming that's what's happened.
Yeah, he got you were on the phone. Well, we were all on the phone with him in some sense, I guess, except for Yorkie. But just said the day got blown up, and we'll see him Thursday, I think. So good thing is we're really good on the fly, just like our ad reads.
I used to have a thing when I used to do radio, because we'd get guys canceling all the time, and the thing is they just say family reasons. You say family reasons, you can't question it.
You got nothing,
because you might not want to know the answer, so you just say, family reasons.
Yep, right.
Not going to question that.
Alex DeBrincat.
No, family tees off at 2:40. There's a reason.
I got a tea time with my son.
As always, everybody, this show brought to you by Botano. Go to botano.ca. We'll get to ad reads in a bit later. But we do have plenty to talk about. One, right now, the Prospect Challenge is wrapping up in Buffalo for the Ottawa Senators. They got one more period to go. It's 1-1. And there's been a player, Taryn Pfizer, who scored in this game for Ottawa. I think it's now his fourth goal. He's undrafted, playing the East Coast League. He's 22 years old. He had 20, somewhere in that. He had 50 points in 62 games. He was a minus 27. Undrafted. So, gentlemen, as you guys, Bobby, obviously a high-end pick, Yorkie is seventh, you can appreciate being undrafted doesn't help your cause whatsoever.
No, not generally. But he's coming. I think the biggest thing, and I can't actually speak to it because I never came in as an undrafted player, but I think the biggest thing they can do is earn themselves a longer look in an AHL, ECHL contract. He can obviously put up points. He can shoot the pill too. Some of those shots were nice in the early game there. And I haven't seen the
one today is he's coming down the wing on a 1-on-2, and he just fires it from the circle and beats, like, it's like nobody was paying any attention, it felt like. But that discredits his ability to score goals too.
It doesn't discredit it, but by day 4 of those camp, everybody's running on fumes and you're trying to get the main camp and all that. Yeah. But not saying anything bad about that. He can shoot the pill, and he earned himself a longer look. I don't know if he comes to main camp off of it, but he's probably going to get the call to the Belleville for that camp 100%. So good on him. I like that stuff.
Right now, David Bell is watching him a lot closer than Pierre Dorion and his staff are watching him right now. They're trying to figure out, can this guy play in the American Hockey League? And they're pretty thin. Like the Senators are pretty thin as far as prospects go. So pretty good organization to go to right now if you're trying to get a job in the AHL. And AHL jobs are tough to come by these days. So he's got no chance of making the Ottawa Senators. I'm just being real here. And this is the thing. I was joking with you before the show, Wally. Bob, you never had to go through this. But when I was a 7th round draft pick, I hated this time of year because all the scouts are in the stands. So when Bobby was going to camp, they had the guys in the stands with the pom-poms. They're cheering, give me a B, give me an O. It's like, oh, Bobby Ryan. And they're all, because if Bobby Ryan doesn't play well at camp, they look like idiots. Where if Pfizer doesn't, who cares? It's not our guy. Like, it's the way it is. But it's, if like when I went to the American League, I was scared to death because I'm like, shit, I'm going against the 2nd, 3rd, 4th rounder, the college free agent. I'm trying to make the American League. Thank God Barry Melrose pulls me aside, like after a month in the hotel. He's like, hey kid, you really get 80 assists in the OHL last year? I'm like, yeah, I did. He goes, you think you can do that here? I'm like, no. He goes, how about 40? I go, maybe. He's like, all right. He goes, those fucking guys in Detroit, they want to send you down to the East Coast League, but fuck them. I'm keeping you here. So
I love it.
It wasn't for Barry Melrose, I would have been down in the cheese toast, Bob.
Oh, it's hard to come back from the toast.
Once you're down there, you're not. It's tough sledding, but
Not a big
hey,
attrition rate.
no, it's not good. But anyways, this time of year, I know people are making a big deal of rookie camp. Sure, those guys are trying to get spots in the AHL right now. This NHL roster is pretty well made. There's maybe a bottom 6 spot that's up for grabs that maybe a guy like Sokolov can grab. But besides that, this team is made.
Well, they got too many guys. Right?
Well,
like they're trying to figure out how to fit one Shane Pinto into a roster that doesn't.
Yes. Yeah. So that, but that might give an early season opportunity to someone like Ridley Gregg to get here sooner than later and get playing more right away. That's all that's going to do.
Yeah.
So we brought up a couple names I want to discuss. One, Igor Sokolov. So training camp starts Wednesday. So the golf tournament is tomorrow on Tuesday. Training camp starts Wednesday. Igor Sokolov remains an RFA. I firmly believe a deal will be signed and he will be there on Wednesday. So it's either going to be signed Monday or Tuesday, and I think he will get it done for Wednesday. So that's the good news. He is Belleville's all-time leading goal scorer. Good dude, and I hope he's trained his ass off. But we've talked about in the past. I hope he's there for the start of camp. I know he wants to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
good kid, eh, Wally? Good kid. You know, you've had some good interactions with him.
Yeah, he's just a really good guy. When you're passed over 3 times for the draft, that's a lot of humble pie, if you will. And he's worked his ass off to get to where he's at. He doesn't take anything for granted, and so I really like who he is and what he's done.
Yeah. I like the way. I mean, I don't know him personally. I just like the way he always seems like he's smiling. He always likes. He enjoys being around the rink and around the guys. I'd like to see him get rewarded. Whether it's not going to be a one way, we know that. But at the same time, I'd like to see him find a way to get himself some games because he puts the work in. Yeah. Everybody loves him, the fans included. It'd be really, really nice to see.
Yeah, he's hoping for a long Pinto negotiation here.
Yeah.
Take your time, boys. Take your time. It's all good here.
Is Pinto in Ottawa even?
No. Not to my understanding, unless they've really closed the gap. But as far as I know, that gap is pretty wide.
It is.
I don't think Pinto is going to be here for preseason games, but anything can change in a day, right? So here's the difference, guys. And Yorkie, you know this as an incoming owner, is that once ownership takes over, and if they make any moves, front office wise, that maybe that switches stuff, and maybe something changes along those lines.
Yeah, they still have to figure. Someone has to leave, right? Because they're over the cap with Pinto in.
Yes,
so
yes, and they've got to make that move before they sign Pinto, because otherwise, if you sign Pinto, then everybody knows you're up against the cap, and you get nothing for. And
I hate saying this, but there's a very good chance at camp. Usually, somebody always gets hurt. Like it's
always.
Always. And then that changes things. So you do have the luxury of waiting to see, but it's not good for young guys to miss camp, especially young guys that aren't used to the grind, the year in and year out grind. And Pinto's been hurt before. Like it's just tough when you miss those reps, miss being around the guys, because it just makes it that much more difficult. Not impossible. Like Brady Tkachuk was.
I was just going to say Brady. Brady was the one guy, everybody's like, leading up to Brady, everybody's like, you can't miss camp. You're too many prone to injuries. Brady shows up and then just deals out an amazing season. So
I know.
I've stopped with you need to be in camp at the begining.
Yeah.
Let's go with Brady being the exception, though. And because the way that he plays is a lot different than a guy that actually needs the reps in the defensive scheme. Brady's going 100 miles an hour and he does not need the reps, but a young guy at 22 years old that's learning positional play at the center position needs those reps. It's a different scenario.
Yeah. Brady doesn't have a problem getting amped up for games.
No, he'll be just fine.
He just dial it back a little bit, like your little sub to,
Yeah.
You don't need to fight in the preseason. By the way, Shane Pinto and the trade rumor stuff, I know it. I get it. I don't see any scenario playing out where Shane Pinto is traded. There's not one that I see as a scenario.
I can't. He's too valuable as a right-handed center. He's just too valuable as a position at 22 years old with his best years ahead of him. And I mean, for a third line, I mean, he put up 21 goals. You know, that's or 20. Was it 21 that he scored?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at
He's
least 20.
It's 21.
Man,
Yeah. But he's like as you guys understand, you need to be deep down the middle in order to be a strong playoff team. You've got to go 1, 2, 3 down the middle.
You do.
And Ottawa's got that ability right now. So another year of seasoning with these guys, and they are a legitimate contender with those 3 guys at center.
Look at Ottawa's roster makeup right now. Josh Norris, left-handed center. Stützle, left-handed center. Kastelik. What's Casti? Is he right or left?
He's a righty.
He's a righty, but he's your fourth line. You pencil him in for your fourth line. You win in this league with a third line. That's if Ottawa wants to be a playoff team that can do some damage, which I think not this year, but the next year. I think they're a playoff team this year for sure. I think that that narrative of let's wait, like shut up. This team is a playoff team. Enough. Talk to the players, and they will tell you it is playoff time. This team's too good on paper. You got 2 goalies, you got great D, you've got a great top 6. There is no reason. I know people will say, well, who's coming out? Enough. Ottawa's a playoff team this year, and I think next year they win a round or 2. I think they're that good. And
but
in order to do that, Pinto has to be part of it. He's not going anywhere. You are not trading
coming
a right
out,
shot.
Yorkie. Who is coming out?
Florida's. I'm going to take a step. Man, I can see Florida taking a step back. I just think they just squeaked in. I'm not sold. I'm not sold on the Boston Bruins. I just think, man, they've been pillaged. That team has been decimated. Bergeron,
Bobby
Krejci,
doesn't care. He's all in on Boston.
I love Boston. I just
not, but it's not the logo that goes out and plays. It's players.
Yeah.
As much as I like Monty as a coach, man, like they just lost so many guys.
Okay, so let me ask you two, because we understand the dynamic of the room when you're all pulling on the same rope and how important that is. Are the Ottawa Senators going to be willed into the playoffs by the players themselves, if that makes sense, if you get what I'm saying? They may not be the most skilled team in the Eastern Conference or in the Atlantic Division, but are they going to will themselves into a playoff position?
I don't know that they have to. They got enough skill, but I mean, that top 6 is no joke, right? When you think about it, the 3rd and 4th, a little lean, but not a tragedy by any means. You can win if you sign Pinto and get him in there. But they are going to and their goaltending got a little bit. Everything got better. They are still not the most skilled team. With all that being said, they're going to have to be they're going to be a lunch pail team. You bring your lunch pail, go to work every day. And that is how they're going to win games, through depth, because they finally have some of it on the defensive side of things. Through your top 2 lines have to score. You have to get the balance right, whether that's 18 minutes and then 15 minutes or whatever, between the top 2 lines. Yep. And your third line has to get solidified, and you're in. But it's not because Boston's coming out, Yorkie. They're in.
Okay, well, we'll save that till we get to our season preview.
Save it.
But that's an interesting topic.
Look at it this way. Claude Giroux didn't come to Ottawa just so he could bring his son on the ice for practice. He came here to get in the playoffs. He's 35 years old. Didn't he come here for $19.5 million? Yeah, that helped. That helped. But he's still a great player. Like Claude Giroux is still a very good player in this league. And you look at this roster. Brady Tkachuk right now is one of the top left wingers in the game. Tim Stützle's one of the up-and-coming best stars in the game. Then you've got depth, and you got leadership, and you brought in secondary scoring in Tarasenko. You look at Kubalik on your third line. Pinto comes back. Look at that top 4D. That's a very good puck-moving top 4D. As long as they stay healthy, I see no reason why this isn't a playoff team. And don't forget, they got 2 good goalies now. 2 good, healthy goaltenders. If you go around and you look at most rosters in the league, I would put the Senators, especially in the East, as a team that doesn't have a lot of holes. And they're hungry. They're hungry. They want to get there. And they've got a captain that's going to drag that team into the battles. So to answer your question, I can see Brady Tkachuk dragging this team into the playoffs because this guy wants it. And when your captain is your hardest worker and the heartbeat of the team, he's got that ability to drag the rest of the guys. And he won't have to. He's got the help of Giroux. Stützle's motivated. Norris is healthy. Too many good players. This team's ready to make the playoffs.
All right. I do have a question that's up in. So read Ian Mendez's article today on Tim Stützle. He went over to Germany and spent some time with them. Now, Tim Stützle says he could have made $10+ million a season and turned it down in order to hang out with the boys and get everybody signed. Do we think Stützle would have been signed for $10+ million?
Ooh, Yorkie, what do you think?
What's this?
Sorry. Yeah, I don't think they offered him 10 and he said, I'll take 8.
No. Let me get you the quote. No, guys, I can't do that.
You know what? I'm good with 8. 10's nice, but I like the sound of 8 better.
Because the NHLPA is going to be pissed.
Yeah. His agent's gonna be like, "Hey, Timmy, yeah. I got other clients, bud.
Let's have a chat, shall we?"
You know what? I'm a good guy. Read the quote.
I'm getting to it. None of this was prepared since we had a different show planned for today. Keep going.
I saw the gist of the comment, and I think what he's getting at is he's saying, and I don't know how accurate it is, but what he's saying is I took less knowing that we could build more.
That's what I'm saying.
Money could be allocated differently, but I understand what he's saying, but at the time he's 21 years old and he's getting 8x8. He's not thinking I'll take less. 8x8 is a hell of a deal. If he had waited a year, would he be making more? Yorkie, 100%. Don't you agree? He would be making more than 8. So it's a good looking deal at this point, but
yeah.
But he doesn't know that he's going to have that year last year until it happens. So it's hard to say.
I agree. Coming off that year last year, he probably gets into the 9s. But here's the thing. You know this as well as I do, Bob. This is the thing with these contracts. And I love Stützle. I see no reason why he's not going to be a superstar. But now you got to do it again. And that's like before in the league, it used to be about you will get paid after consistently showing that you can play to a high level in the league, and then you'll get paid. So that's the tough thing. You got to take educated guesses, and that's why you see so many teams have these bad contracts. But I don't think Stützle will be that way. But hey, now there's some pressure on him. He's got to do it again. And we had this discussion about a month ago. Like, it's going to be tough for him to hit that goal number again this year. Everyone's saying he's going to automatically be over 90 points. That's really tough. And I think if he's under, it's not a success or a failure because they're going to be deeper this year. So I think it's a great contract. It's great for him, great for the team, but now he's got to do it again. And that's what this league's all about. You have to consistently perform. I think he will. But it will be tougher now with a healthy Josh Norris in the lineup. He was getting over 21 minutes a night last year. So if
they win 50 games 2-1, I don't care who scores, right? And
exactly. But then the people are going to be out there and say, Stützle's numbers are down.
Well, if they're in the playoffs, nobody's talking about. If they're not in the playoffs and it's close, then people will be like, well, if he'd scored 5 more goals, they'd be in the playoffs. That's what's going to happen. Okay, I'm going to read you the quote.
Yeah, you got it?
So I'm just going to read a couple of paragraphs. If Stützle had waited, he certainly would have had enough leverage to warrant a much richer contract, says Ian Mendez. But that was never his motivation. Personally, quote, I think if someone is making 10 or 11 million, it makes it hard to win with the salary cap. But with everybody making under 9 million in our young core, I think we have a really good chance to win. And the only goal I really have is to win a Stanley Cup with this group of guys. He knew that he could have joined the league's salaried elite and made north of 10 million with his new contract. For me, it wasn't important if I made 9 million or 10 million. Making 8.35 million is still a lot of money. I just think it's a really fair deal for both sides, and that's what I wanted. Mm-hmm. That's what he said.
Yeah. So he's basically saying if I would have took a chance and played out and not signed right away, I could have got more. Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Yep. It's the same thing with Sidney Crosby, right? Crosby took less so they could keep Evgeny Malkin there and Chris Letang and all those guys so he could win with them. I totally would agree.
Did you, Bob, did you hear the stories in Boston when Marchand and those guys took less to keep the team
Not
competitive?
really, no. I never,
So,
no.
I was talking to some guys and they said when McAvoy and some of the guys were getting into contract disputes, there was word that Marchand, some of the guys were like, you know what, don't be too greedy because we took a little bit less so we could have a great team here and win. And they said, if you hold out, we're going to make life miserable for you every day in practice because we're all here as a team to win. I forget. I think it was McAvoy. They ended up signing. I'm trying to remember. It might have been DeBrusk as well. But you look at those were really team-friendly contracts. So the one with Bergeron, like Marchand especially, like he was a deal for a lot of years.
Yeah. No, I remember vaguely hearing the stories about it, but I actually don't know which player it was either, whether it was DeBrusk or McAvoy. But I asked those guys if they would do it again. They won a couple President's Cup trophies, but yeah, you know, at the end of the day, though, like they're all making enough money to be well off for the rest of their lives. So it's what's the difference between 7.5 and 9.5 if you're making that much? Well, it's $2 million. That's still it's still $2 million.
Well, yeah, spoken like a true guy that knows what he's talking about here. Yeah.
US, you don't forget US dollars.
Exactly. So,
by the way, I just wanted to update the rookie scoring with 9:53 to go. Montreal has rolled ahead. It's now 2-1. So I just want to keep you on the edge of your seats as we go along here.
Get them engaged. Okay.
You guys are dead quiet. Yeah. Well, what do I do with that?
I'm excited. I think tomorrow is the day. Well, they'll let some guys go tonight too, but you'll know who's coming to camp tomorrow when they make those. And I'm excited to see who kind of played their way through. And you know the guys that are going to be there. You know who's definitely moving on. But there's always some interesting selections, or not even interesting. There's some names that maybe surprise you one way or the other on main camp.
I would hope Taryn Pfizer gets just right. They need bodies at the beginning of camp, as you guys are well aware, just to fill out rosters. So I'd like to see him just to get that couple of days before they cut him. And then there's always the junior kids. They bring them in for a day or two, and then they send them back. But there's camp will be exciting. All right, moving on. Ownership is coming in this week, allegedly. I thought there'd be an announcement today that it was officially done. I know there was documents signed at least on Friday that were dropped off and whatnot. There's, from what I told, it's the minutia of literally the dotting the I's and making sure the wording is all right in the contract, which I'm assuming is 1 million fucking pages long. Here's what's going to Monday today is there may still be an announcement. We don't know. Tuesday is the golf tournament. And Michael Andlauer will be there along with some of the other owners as well. I don't know if Jeff York is playing Yorkie.
Don't know.
The other thing is Wednesday or Thursday will be the official press conference. It's likely to be Thursday. And I think at that time, as we do know, Cyril Leader has resigned from his spot at Myers, is that he will be introduced as the CEO. And that may be the only one at the time. But there might be one other, and that's Peter Chiarelli. I am told he's moved back into the Ottawa area, and we all know that he has close ties to Michael Andlauer and to one Steve Stais from Edmonton. He could be a senior advisor. He could be president of hockey ops. I don't know. I think you're going to see Peter Chiarelli part of this organization. Yorkie?
I would agree with that. I would agree. I know Peter. Peter actually signed me to my last year in the NHL. Probably not one of his better signings, but I had no business, Bob, being in the league anymore. But I'm happy. I was happy to be playing my last year in Boston. No, Peter gets a little bit of a bad rap for his time in Edmonton, which was a situation with a lot of cooks in the kitchen there, with all the old alumni there.
The owner.
Yeah, it was a circus there. He did a great job in Boston. Really smart guy. Peter and I actually used to play on the same fastball team back in the day. Freddy's Fried Chicken. That was our sponsor. But no, he's a real smart guy. He's a Harvard grad. well-respected in the hockey world. Ottawa native, old assistant general manager here. I think it's a great fit. I think it makes a lot of sense. I don't know for certain, Wally, but I think it's great. He's an Ottawa guy, like you said, very well respected. I just think it makes a ton of sense, and I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Little known fact, he may have signed you to your last deal. He signed my marriage certificate.
Did he?
So I needed a lawyer to sign it, and I brought it to game day one time. Like, hey, Pete, I just need a lawyer. Can you just sign this?
Yeah, that's incredible.
I'm hoping he doesn't remember it. Yeah, he's probably going to.
Don't forget, like he won the Stanley Cup in Boston. He helped build that team. Like he's got winning pedigree. So there's a lot of things to like, and again, in a small community like Ottawa, I think it's great to have as many local ties where people are passionate, care about the community, and I just think it makes a ton of sense.
So anyway, that's what we're the understanding is. I think in Alfie moves into a player development type role. That'll be his. I don't know exactly how that breaks down. I don't know, but I think that's where he's leaning. But I don't know what conversations have also taken place at the time. But exciting week. Like this is exciting, and I do hear the Matthew Darche rumors as assistant GM. Maybe I do like the work Ryan Bonus has done in Ottawa since he's been here. I think you need two at this point, especially in a cap era with all of that stuff and running the AHL franchise. So, but I do like Matthew Darche. I covered him when he played at McGill, and I worked at in Montreal for Global TV. We go way back. He's a really good guy.
Yeah. Ryan Bonus is great. I like Ryan Bonus a lot. He's a sharp guy, up and coming guy. So we'll see, but there's going to be a lot of moves made. Like Ottawa's got a skeletal staff right now. Like it's so small.
You got to build the analytics.
Yeah. Like it's not hard to fill spots. There was a rumor a long time, like I'll say pre-COVID, probably 6-7 years ago. They were inviting people in the hockey department, but not really hockey ops, just to come sit in meetings because they didn't have enough people. They just we just need to look like we're bigger.
Come on down.
Yeah. People like, well, I don't know why I'm in this meeting.
You can still bring the coffee, but come on down.
So there's lots of rumors about everybody getting traded, from Drake Batherson to Dominic Kubalik. I don't see either one of those guys being moved before this season starts. I know about the need to get somebody moved to get Pinto in. I just don't think it's any of those guys. I literally think it comes down to perhaps a defenseman if they need to, and either or Matthew Joseph.
I don't see it either. I think this is the first time that you can look at like you're going into the season with the 12-man roster. Well, 13 forwards. Let's go with that in our minds and take the salary cap out of it for just a minute. They don't want to move anybody. They have to move somebody. It's not going to be a Pinto. It's not going to be a Batherson for reasons outside of hockey. That move's nobody's going to make that trade at this point, I don't think. And I don't want to get into it by any means, but it's not a safe trade to make. I saw something about the Flyers targeting a player out of Philly. I can't remember the name. And this was a couple days ago, but I saw, was it Scott Lawton?
Oh, yeah. We talked about the beginning of the year.
Yeah. I think there's too much excitement for the guys that are coming to camp to make this team, don't you?
Exactly.
Like,
yes.
They don't want to move anybody, and if anybody goes, it's going to be a Matthew Joseph.
Batherson's contract is so good. It's so team friendly for what he does. Like you can't move him. To get a guy with that kind of skill on that kind of number, you don't move that. Claude Giroux ain't going anywhere. Obviously, Tarasenko's not going anywhere. Brady, Stützle, Norris. If you just go by like subtraction, you end up at Matthew Joseph, Eric Brannstrom, Hammond. Nobody's picking up Hammond right now. So you get down to Brannstrom and Matthew Joseph. Those are the guys, but what's Brannstrom making right now? Is it $2 million? $2 million?
I believe. Yeah.
I'm putting you on the spot right now.
He was right in that area.
That's the thing. Like, and I like Brannstrom as a player. I just think, and he's just so miscast with what he is. That's just it. in the Ottawa lineup. Like, this guy is a puck moving offensive defenseman that should be on your second power play. He's not a penalty kill shutdown guy. So it makes no sense. So I guess, yeah, is he there for depth in case something happens? But if you're expecting Chychrun to get hurt, what'd you trade for him then? Like, it's like you have your top 4 in place. Those are your guys, and then you plug in. But again, I get it. You can never have enough D, but now you're in cap trouble. So it's like, usually with those bottom spots, you're paying guys $1 million, 800 or 850. It's like, that's a little too much for that type of guy, but it's a 1-year deal, so it's not the end of the world. But I don't know. I'm with you, Bob. It's gotta be Joseph, or it's gotta be a Brannstrom, someone like that, just to get a little bit of cap relief.
Yeah. Also, don't forget JBD is on a one-way deal as well, right? They have 70 on one-way contracts,
but making a lot less.
Yeah. No, money-wise, I'm just saying they do have guys on one-way deals. They have to be able to do something with, right? You're not going to keep everybody around. I want to discuss, before we get into Mike Babcock, because I'm excited to talk about this one, is the Josh Bailey PTO. So Josh Bailey's played 1,057 games. He's a former 9th overall pick in 2008, 184 goals, 580 points. I mean, there's no risk in this whatsoever. Is this one of those, they're trying to a little protection perhaps, that if Matthew Joseph, if they can move him around, they get this kind of depth?
I think there's that. And it feels to me like I'm a little bit more of a favor from the coaching staff to Josh Bailey. You're somewhat local. Let's give you an opportunity to go showcase yourself. Last year wasn't a great year for you. You can come in and there's a possibility that we may need you to fill a void that could come up, but it's going to be on a league minimum deal, and this is what you're going to be making. So there might be that, probably the conversation that might have been had, or probably the conversation that was had, excuse me. But at the meantime, use this opportunity to show 31 other teams that, hey, I can still play at an elite level, 1,050 games in or whatever it is. I still have some legs left in the tank, and then you earn yourself something out of there. So it feels like a favor with some protection built in, I think.
Yeah. Well, Josh Bailey, if you go back in his history, he goes all the way back to his Windsor Spitfire days when DJ Smith was the assistant coach there. So there's a long history there. So I'm sure DJ stepped up and said, this is a character guy. And exactly what you said, Bob. If we don't get Pinto signed, this might be a guy we plug in. We know he's a pro. We know he's an NHL player, and he'd be good in the room. And I know the guy, I know the player. So to me, it makes a lot of sense. I like Bailey as a player too. He's really smart. Like, he's
very smart player. Yeah.
He's not the quickest guy, but he's a pro. He gets the puck on his stick, and he's composed. He's methodical. Yeah. I think it's a great low risk move. And the coaching staff knows the player, and they thought enough of him to invite him. So I think it's a great move.
He's also a player that's played top 6 in the past. So if something happens to one of your guys at any position in the top 6, he can play center, he can play wing. Yeah, he's a chess piece. He's a chess piece that you can have. And if he doesn't have a great camp, it's a low risk move because you move him on and you wish him luck. I personally saw it, and I personally thought it was a great idea.
Me too. Absolutely.
2017-18, he had 18 goals and 71 points for a career high in both of those numbers. So, and 53 assists, which is career high as well. So yeah, I like the move. I don't have any issues with it. I've always liked him as a player. And so we'll see how it goes. It reminds me of obviously Derek Brassard a bit. But Brassard was, I felt like they needed somebody that they could secure at center until Mark Kastelik got his feet wet.
Think about this, Wally. He's only 33 years old, Bailey. I think in October, he's younger than Claude Giroux. Like, it's not like this guy's an old man. Like,
he's crazy that he's played 1,057 games to me.
So he's got some miles on the odometer, but hey, I guys like that, they just settle things down. They're good guys to have around. So yeah, I'm exactly what Bob said. If he has a good camp, you got a decision to make.
Yep.
Okay, so here's then my question. What do you think the chances are that he is on this roster out of camp?
Oh, what do you think, Yorkie?
I don't have the camp roster. Are there any more invites like a Bailey invited to camp? I'm putting you on
So the
spot
roster
here.
hasn't been out yet. It should come out tomorrow.
Okay. So if Bailey is the only guy in that category that is coming to camp, depending if Pinto's not signed, I think there's a very good chance.
Yes.
Because he can. It's a great piece to have. So and it's low risk. You sign him to the league minimum, and you plug him in. So I think it's and who knows how much leverage he has. Like, does he have other teams that are interested? Did he have other options? If he didn't, then all dependent on Pinto. If Pinto's drags on and doesn't get signed, I think Bailey can make the team.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Now, would you okay, then here's the debate, maybe, although not quite the same. Ridley Gregg or Josh Bailey, who makes your roster?
Both.
You got too many bodies. You've got to move people then. Then there's Parker Kelly. Zach McEwen. Zach McEwen's not going anywhere.
To me, unless Ridley Gregg comes to camp and shows that he's completely not ready, then it's his job to lose, and Josh Bailey would really have to push him out.
Well,
the first round pick in your organization is going to be the guy that gets the job.
100%. I'm just looking. I'm doing the numbers though. If you take Pinto out, like you normally beginning of the season, you're taking 2 extra forwards, right?
Sure.
Yeah, you're taking 2 extra forwards. So you take Pinto out, there's room for him.
But I'm thinking Josh Bailey's getting a one-way deal.
Well, it's still low risk. Like I don't know, maybe he won't. Like who knows? Like
then it becomes that's a whole other story.
Like if you can somehow convince him to take a 2-way deal and say, hey, you're going to be back and forth. We right now you're going to start with us. I don't know how much leverage he has right now.
It's hard to say.
It's hard to say if he's got who his agent is, what other teams. I'm sure DJ Smith had a lot to do with him coming. And the
Jack Capuano was his head coach in the island too. Don't forget.
Yeah, so he's got 2 guys in his corner, and Bailey was pretty good back when Cap was coaching there. So you got, I forgot about that. Yeah, Cap's there too. So that's how you stick around in the NHL. The reason guys play longer is because you always say you only have to have one guy in the league who likes you, and then somehow you can just keep surviving. So I would say the chances of him surviving are very good because he's got 2 guys in his corner.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
That's how it works, Wally.
No, I get it. I totally get it. I'm just, I'm probably more on the side of they've got so many guys that are itching to take a spot that I think are ready. Like
the NHL is like Survivor Island. You just gotta have people on your side. Keep
true.
It's a good problem to have. All right, we're moving on. We're going to get to Mike Babcock here in a second. I'm thinking there's something else we've forgotten to talk about the Sens, but we'll get to that too. This show, as always, is a gamble, if you will. Brought to you, as always, by Betano. Go to betano.ca. Download the all-new award-winning app. Lots of things to look up, including get in now for your Stanley Cup winner, for your Hart Trophy winner. All those awards are there. You can lay down those bets. And they are the leader when it comes to online gaming. Hundreds of betting options for events, and try same-game parlays with Bet Builder. Also live in-game betting, the most competitive odds on the market. Don't forget, on Saturday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, they have trivia. 7 answers out of 10. I think you win $500. So, or 500 coins with Betano. Anyway, don't have to bet. Go check them out. Must be 19 years of age or older to play. Please play responsibly. And by our good friends at BEI. Oh, Bobby, we've switched it. So here you go.
All right. Well, thank you to our friends at BEI, Ottawa Valley's heavy civil general contractor. Oh man, I was heavy contractor.
2 already.
Yeah. Helping to shape Ottawa Valley. You can give them a follow. You can give them. You know what? You really caught me off guard here, but you can
should have come to rehearsal.
Yeah, you can find them at BonisherExcavating.com or get a hold of them at 613-432-1120. This is embarrassing. When planning your next project, consider BEI for your aggregate supply needs, equipment rentals, all that other stuff, and slow down a construction zone. Wow, boys, I was paying attention too.
You got a chew in, Bob?
No. Slow down in construction zones, and if you join up, I don't know if they still have Free Hockey Friday with the fellas, but
it's coming back. The ice is
coming
going
back. Another incentive. So thanks to BI. Sorry, I bombshelled you guys there.
Very nice. Well, not really, but good job. Okay. So I was really hoping to have Sutton on because I think Andy would have a different perspective. Him along with Yorkie playing back in the earlier years. People wanted to defend Babcock, saying there's no big deal with all of this stuff. We now know, just in case you haven't tuned in, Mike Babcock has resigned, not even having coached a game for Columbus. They had a press conference today where John Davidson and Jarmo Kekalainen both said, we made a mistake, we apologize, but the ownership has said, you know what, we're not making any changes to our organization. So now they're staying. I think it's time. I don't understand how Jarmo Kekalainen survives this, but furthermore, I'm not sure why everybody was so quick to jump down Paul Bissonnette's throat when all three of us sitting here understood exactly what he was saying, and it was coming from the players. Are either one of you two surprised of how this played out?
Yorkie, what do you think?
I'm surprised. Okay, so first of all, so I told you guys this last show. I've got a long history with Babcock. I think he's a terrible person. No, because I'm not surprised. I'm surprised it happened this quickly, and I knew what Columbus was doing. You get your captain and your best player to come out and say this. And we said this on the show last week. I bet you the rookies and the younger guys had totally different experiences, of course, because it's a power move. But I'm not surprised. Paul Bissonnette is not going to come out and make that statement. He's got too much to lose if it's not true. And he doubled down on it. And no, I didn't think he was lying. He's not saying that if it's not true. Am I surprised, Columbus? No, because the way the culture is in NHL right now, it's they went into damage control, they had to do something quickly. And as soon as the NHLPA flew into town and interviewed guys, they had no choice. And it's
true.
Young kids today, the phone is their most important thing in their lives. Like, man, they're addicted to their phones. So I get it. I totally understand. So yeah, I'm not surprised.
I think you answered what I was thinking and not able to express. I'm surprised it happened this quickly. But as soon as Ron Hainsey gets on a plane, you're in trouble. So I think that's got a lot to do with it.
Did he play for Babs, Bob? Did Hainsey play for Babs? I'm trying to remember.
Would he have been there in Toronto at the same time?
I'm going to look that up.
2 seconds. I think he did. Yeah.
I think he did too. But what I would say about that is as soon as he gets on a plane and as soon as there's an investigation, somebody somewhere is taking something. So Babs took the hit. But I agree. I don't know how the GM and the other guy get away scot-free out of this.
Right? Survivor Island again. It's like,
there you go.
JD, I would say Jarmo probably gets axed.
Yeah, he should have been axed already. Like, this is an egregious. Okay, first of all, Ron Hainsey played 2 seasons with Mike Babcock. Okay. This is to me an egregious one, right? And he would know exactly how Mike Babcock operated.
That's
the only thing. Like, there's
Hainsey
not
paid
one
his own
person.
ticket. He paid his own ticket on that flight.
It's like, are you sure Ron Hainsey's coming?
I guarantee you, Hainsey's probably talking to Commodore on the phone. They're all talking. Who are the guys? This is the guy that sent the text to me, because on Chicklets, they didn't out the guy, but behind closed doors said, these are the guys you need to talk to. And they went right there and talked to those guys and got it done. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Without me knowing 100%, that's just connecting the dots here. But hey, it's for sure. I wonder though, like, did he actually put it up on the airplay? Like, put the phone up? That's pretty.
Well, he wouldn't have had a chance, right? Because nobody's in the locker room yet.
Yeah.
So unless they're
just
there
in his office.
Just in his office. That would be. I don't know. It's fucking weird, man. I don't know.
Do you know Commodore Bob?
No.
I was with Commie in Anaheim. We both got sent down to Cincinnati by Babs. and he friggin' hated him. But hey, I had more reason to hate him. I was like on a one-way contract. I was a top 4D, getting friggin' bullied by Babs. But yeah, it was funny. The pervert line was the best.
Oh, it was good. It was good. It was good.
He's a pervert
around here. Jarmo Kekalainen has been there for 10 years. What has Columbus done except beat Tampa one year in a playoff? That
Toronto in the bubble. Don't forget they beat Toronto in the bubble, I believe.
Sorry.
That
Yes,
counts. That counts.
Okay.
Too.
Other than that, it's been a mess. John Tortorella went in there. Like, I don't understand. And Jarmo's used to be with Ottawa at one point. I do know him a bit. I just don't get this one. I don't get how he survives, and I don't get how they thought Mike Babcock was the answer.
And just I want to clarify something too that we talked about the other day. The difference between John Tortorella and Mike Babcock. People have a lot more, especially players, have a lot more respect for John Tortorella, because if he doesn't like you, he will tell you to your face. You know exactly where you stand. There's no bullshit behind closed doors. There's no mind games. It's man to man, tell you how it is, and you take it or you like it. So there's a huge difference between those two characters. Everybody's saying, well, they brought Tortorella in. No, John Tortorella is not a bad guy. He just has different methods.
He's a very good guy. But
he's
all
honest.
My point is that he comes with a lot of, it seems, baggage, if you will. It just, when people say John Tortorella, like, oh my God, what's going to happen next?
But he's not a weasel. That's the difference.
No, he's not. And he's straight and to the point. I do respect that about him. I'm just trying to say there just always seems to be drama that doesn't need to happen.
I know, but he doesn't like the bullshit, and then I get it. But anyways, I just wanted to clarify that.
Yep. No, fair enough. Anyway, I don't understand how Kekalainen is still there. I do have a line for you. Talk about Ron Hainsey. When he signed in Ottawa, 2 years, $5 million. I remember sitting him down the day like tomorrow, which is training camp, and going, "Why did you pick Ottawa?" And he's like, "Have you seen what they're paying me?" I was like, and that's on camera. I'm like, this is a great line. I'm like, fantastic. He's very good point. Yeah, $2.5 million a year. Yeah,
he's a beauty. Yeah, good dude too.
Bobby, I just remember him wearing the big. Did he have the black blades? Like, you could always look at his feet, and he looked slower than he was because he had the big black boots with the black blades. And I'm like, ooh,
yep.
You're not getting around too good anymore.
No, he was a smart player though, man. He just always went where the puck was going to go. Yeah. And he was out there to micromanage the D because they were so young. Yeah. And a lot of times you would hear DJ start to go down there, and Ron would turn around and be like, "I got it," and it was just Ron would talk to the player instead of DJ getting on him.
That's awesome.
It was a great, it was good.
Quickly, now, okay, here before we move on, I just want to, if you are now a Columbus player, the Boone Jenner thing, people want to jump all over. Boone was just told to write this press release. Let's not put this on Boone Jenner whatsoever. He was told to send out a statement, and he did it. Whether he believed it or not doesn't matter. Let's just let Boone Jenner go from this kind of nonsense. But not trade from the team. I'm just give him a pass. If you're a player in Columbus, now does everybody kind of want out? Like, what have you said to the organization, or what has the organization said to you as players with the nonsense that's gone on?
I think the players are sitting there accepting the apology and realizing they dodged a bullet. They don't have a camp with Mike Babcock, so it's all gravy at this point.
Players are like, "Hey, we're running the show now."
Yep. No. The players right now are through the roof excited. So,
but do they think their team is better today than it was?
That I couldn't tell you, but they think they're happier going to the rink. That's a big part of being better, right? Yeah. I don't have to know that Mike Babcock's got me airplaying or anything. Nothing's gonna show up from 10 pictures ago. So the anxiety is a little less.
I just feel like Patrick Laine and Johnny Gaudreau and Boone Jenner, like, I'm not sure I want to be here.
I think they want to be there on the 1st and the 15th.
I think spoken like a true player. Yeah, fair enough.
I think those two are just fine. I don't think Patrick Laine gets bothered about too much.
He's got he's the guy that likes playing the video games all the time at night. Wasn't he?
Yeah.
Didn't they say his wrists were getting
guy and Fortnite and all that? I remember reading the articles about that.
Yeah. All right.
Man.
He's an Andy Scott guy, by the way. Andy
Yes.
Scott, local agent here. He's an Andy guy.
He can shoot it, man. Like,
Can he ever?
He's got to have one of the top 3 releases in the league right now. Like, that just explodes off his stick.
Whoever the top 3 were, they all just took a bump down. You see Connor Bedard's 3 goals?
Oh,
how about that second one walking off the half wall? You can't even see the first video I saw. You can't see the puck hit the net. You just hear tink, and the angle was ridiculous.
Did you
fucking shot?
So did you see? I watched this video on him a while ago, and they're talking about why his release is so good. So guess when he was a kid, he broke his wrist. It was his bottom hand on the stick, so he learned how to really use his top hand to be dominant. Okay. And his dad's convinced that helped him get more torque on his shots, because he said he'd go down to the basement, wherever his shooting thing was, and he'd shoot pucks with his one hand, just the top hand. And he learned how to get that top hand into it because his release is unique. Yeah. And he got that whip. Like, you see that whip, and it's such a, like, guys that master that, like, that is not many guys can pull that shot off. But the dad says it's because he learned how to develop that strength in his upper hand, which is where the power from his shot comes from, which I found that really interesting.
I never heard that, but I'm just cringing about the amount of 10-year-olds shooting one-handed in the basement right now.
There's a ton.
Parents reading that article.
I'm calling my son right now. One second.
Yeah. Bob, if you want your kids to make it, they got to shoot 1 million pucks a day. It's a different game now.
Yeah. Weighted.
No.
Get the skills
I'm
coach.
not pushing it.
Igor Sokolov would shoot steel pucks.
Yeah.
Or iron, whatever. They were weighted metal pucks.
He can shoot too.
He's got a great release.
Yeah.
It's so, if you are why is Connor Bedard playing in a rookie tournament? Am I wrong to think
they probably made him play the 1 game, right? Or 2, and then sit the 3rd?
He's a rookie.
Every first-year player has done it, man. Every second-year player has done it for the most part too.
Well, I like it. Like, you're a rookie. This is the way we do it. There's no exceptions. And I'm sure he's not questioning either. Hey, he wants to be, because he's got so much focus on him, so much pressure. This is great. He's with the guys.
Yeah.
And then he goes out and pots 3. That's great.
Yeah.
I think.
Do we worry about some knucklehead trying to run him, though?
Listen, that can happen in any game. And it's a good thing. Earn your stripes. He's already made the team. It's a non-issue. It's a non-issue for me.
I just say let him get his feet wet. 2 games and get him out of there, and then make him ready for camp. But I understand making him go through the process like everybody else. I think it's important.
Absolutely.
Then he just pots 3 goals like it's nothing.
All 3 of those shots were unbelievable.
Wow. Yeah. I'm really interested to see how he plays in the NHL, because he's such a unique player because he's smaller. He's got that big shot. He seems very shifty, east-west, not more of like you see so many of these young guys like a McDavid. Like, they had that video before of the 2 of them, McDavid versus Bedard. And Bedard looked like a junior player when they're going through the pylons and that. And they're like, wow, what a difference. That's not his game. Like, his game is more about deception, hiding the puck, releasing the puck. It's like, now you see it, now you don't. So I'm interested. I haven't watched him a lot in junior. I'm just fascinated to see how he does this year in Chicago.
Does he score 40 goals?
Wow, that's tough.
I'd say I think he scores 30 just with 15 on the power play. He's getting every puck touch, right? He's getting and he's going to get where he wants. So let's give him 10 power play goals. I think he scores 30 goals. Yes.
I think that's doable. Yeah, I would agree. That's doable for sure. With that shot, like, that's nuts. Like,
and he's going to have the element of surprise. Guys know he can shoot it, but goalies don't know quite how much he can change the angle with that release yet. Like, he's going to score. He's going to catch guys early by surprise for sure.
When you get on every single power play, you have so much time and space. Yeah, I'd give him over under 10. He's getting over 10 power play goals for sure with that shot. They'll have him as their shooter. The whole power play is going to be about getting him the puck.
Yep.
Getting him into a place to have success. So yeah, pencil him in for probably 12 to maybe 12 goals on the PP, and then another 18 even strength. I think that's very doable.
Yep.
Mark Kennedy said 40 goals, not on that team, Wally. He might have a point, but they did They did improve a little.
They're going to surround them with players. I mean,
Nick Foligno.
Yeah. Taylor Hall. They got some players there. They'll work
Tyler
hard.
Johnson can still play. Taylor Hall can play. I mean, they got some guys that are going to be able to get them the puck.
For sure.
All right, I'm off to shoot some pucks in the basement. So
there you go.
It's 1,000, I think it is. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you Thursday with Andy Sutton, and plenty to ask him. Plus, I want to get your take on training camp and what happens in the first couple of days. So that's all to come on Thursday. Until then, enjoy, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Guys.
Coming in hot.
See you, everybody.
Coming in hot is brought to you by Botano.ca. Please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel to never miss an episode.